Welcome to our next series of chats for the Graphic Novel Comics Roundtable. Here with me today is Brian Azzarello, courtesy of Boom Studios. Most recently, he's created Faithless, which I'm very excited to talk about. I read it recently and was completely blown away. It's not like anything I've ever read before, so I'm very, very excited. Brian, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right,
Considering the
Yeah,
circumstances.
just hanging out like everybody else.
Yes, that's very important things to do. So, we've been asking a series of questions to all of our creators. One of them being, how have you been staying sane during all of this COVID-19 and quarantine and self-isolation?
Oh my God, I can do this stuff standing on my head. I mean, this is the way. Other than having restaurants and then bars closed, this is the way I live. I mean, there's nothing. My life is pretty much the same as it was before.
Okay, so not much has changed. It's like you were almost built for this. Like I've been seeing these memes online. Introverts are now on the rise because they've been training their whole lives, or
Oh,
comics creators that work from home.
yeah, I know. Yeah, it's like I know everybody see what it's like to work from home. It's pretty sexy, isn't it?
But yeah, it kind of is. Although occasionally I'm not used to working at home myself, and I kind of get that itch. I need to go outside now that it's forbidden. So it sounds like nothing has changed for you too much besides bars and restaurants. Do you have any bad quote unquote coworkers that are working with you? Family members, a little furry pet, dog, cat?
Uh, yeah, there are folks around. Yes. Um, that's all right. Maybe that's changing a lot. I'm actually seeing people more than I normally do, and that's like it bothers me. I've
Yeah.
been, I've been socially distant for years.
Yeah, I know how that goes. It's kind of you kind of get used to being on your own, then all of a sudden there's more people around. It's like, okay, that's a change of pace from what I normally
Yeah.
do. All right, so for our viewers, can you talk about how you got started in comics?
Oh boy, it was a long time ago. I fell into it. It was really nothing that I was like looking to do at the time. I was refinishing antique furniture.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's quite a transition from antique furniture to comics.
I
How
know.
did that?
Whatever. Yeah. Like 99% of people on earth that like we don't do what we wanted to do when we were kids.
Yeah, that's very true. What did you want to do as a kid growing up?
Lion tamer.
That is a good goal. To deviate here for a minute, have you seen Tiger King on Netflix at all?
Yes. That's
Holy
okay. That's
wow.
one of
That
the good
is,
things about this whole
yeah,
lockdown thing. Yeah.
it is. I finished the final episode this morning and it just totally blew my mind. It was
Uh,
just, it's, thank you, Netflix.
we were sitting around the other night. We were casting it.
Really? Okay. Like as if this was going to be like a full feature film?
Yes. Yeah.
Can I ask you how you casted it?
Sure. I mean,
Yeah, no, go for it. I'd love to hear that.
uh, Joe Exotic, Danny McBride. I don't think it can't be anybody else.
Oh no, no one else.
Yeah. Um, Carol, probably Kate McKinnon. I think is what we decided on.
I can see that for sure.
Yeah. Um, oh, Doc. Too bad he's dead, but because Philip Seymour Hoffman would be perfect.
Oh my goodness. Yes, he would have been perfect as that.
Yeah. So yeah, you got a lot of time on my hands right now.
I'd love to see the comic version of the casting of that.
Yeah.
So this is probably the multi-part question here. What has life been like as a creator pre the Marvel movie era, and now with the explosion of that fandom sense and even the DC movies? How has that kind of changed for you?
Changed my life? Not.
Yes.
No, I've been invited to some premieres. So that's about it.
Okay. But creating in general has kind of basically stayed the same for you?
Yeah, yeah. I don't get involved in that stuff really.
That I totally get. It's probably a moneymaker for some of them. So Out of curiosity, so with a lot of your previous titles were probably kind of different from Faithless. What do you think your differences of perspective about projects with Faithless and other works that you've done that you find of kind of a difference in? How did you come about making Faithless? What was your inspiration for that?
Well, I mean, I guess the inspiration is what it's like always been with when I work on something. I want to do something different than what I've done before.
Yes.
I don't want to even when I come to a company owned character or something, I don't want to repeat something that's been done. That stuff already exists,
Right.
Especially now that everything's being reprinted and it's all available. If you like a certain style of, say, Batman, go read that,
Yes.
I have no interest in doing something that somebody else has done, and that somebody else is also myself. It's like when I finish a project, it's like, okay, what am I going to do this time? I mean, Faithless, oddly enough, started out as a YA.
Oh, wow. Okay, I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
Okay. It's definitely not YA now.
Well, no, but I mean, if you kind of think about that sort of YA manga-ish kind of sexuality that happens,
Yes.
it's there. But when I was sitting there and explaining it to Sierra Han, who's the editor on the book, what I was thinking, she's like, "Why do you want to go YA? Why not? You should go the other direction." So I
Okay.
took her advice.
Yeah, I think her advice served very well. The inspiration for Faith herself, it seemed kind of an interesting story of her. By the way, we'll probably get into some spoilers here for everyone watching, just because we have the creator here, so might as well ask the questions. For Faith herself, her kind of descent into becoming an artist. Is there a path of that story that you were wanting to kind of show this? She really wanted to have an impact on the world. She wanted to mean something, and the only way was to make a deal.
Well, I mean, I went to art school, so as far as the story of a 20-year-old young woman, exploring her sexuality can go, it's autobiographical.
Gotcha. And what was the inspiration for the demon aspect of Faithless?
And again, autobiographical.
I gotcha. Now, is there going to be, I read the first 6 issues, is there going to be any more coming out, or is it a complete story now?
No, the second one was, I don't think it's coming out when it was supposed to now because of Diamond's not distributing.
Right, I saw that.
Yeah,
That they had stopped.
yeah. So the second series was like ready to go. So it's going to be pushed back a bit till the new normal takes place.
Yeah.
And then Boom also announced last week, I believe, the third series. So we're going to do 3 and all.
Oh, awesome. I'm looking forward to that. I definitely want to see where the story goes. It's one of those, okay, I have no idea where this is going. And each issue that I read was a complete different, okay, well, didn't see that coming, didn't see that coming. Wow, that was scary and messed up. Okay, let's keep going.
Good, as long as, as long as you keep following, I'm doing, well, not just me, Maria and I, we're doing our jobs.
You are. It's quite good. So, what have fan reactions been to Faithless besides just hearing me spew about it?
Man, really, like a lot more positive than I'm used to. But
really,
yeah.
Oh, that's hard. That's horrible to hear. Do you get a lot of criticism for the work that you do?
Oh my God, yes. But that's great.
It kind of means you're doing your job if you're, I guess, causing discussion and debate.
Yes, right? I mean, the worst thing is nothing, just crickets.
Oh, yeah, no, and that's definitely not what you want. So, What do you think, then, is your most controversial work to date?
Oh man, that depends on who you ask. I think the one that, definitely the most recent is Batman Damned. That's easily the most controversial recently.
And is that because going back to your earlier comments about liking to do something different with the characters? I haven't read Batman Damned yet myself, but I'm guessing you probably did something different for the Batman character than has normally been seen before.
Yes, something was seen in Batman Damned that has never been seen before and will never be seen again.
Oh man. Okay, I will make sure to look that up later.
That was the book where uh, Bruce Wayne was naked.
Okay, and
Okay.
I mean he's human. I mean
He is human, but
point.
I mean, no, he's not human. He's a brand, and
I gotcha. So if you, I guess if it's, I gotcha.
yeah.
Totally get that. Well,
And then
I'm always,
Wonder Woman got a lot of, there was a lot of discussion around Wonder Woman too.
but I'm guessing both positive and negative.
Yeah, which is great, really.
That's good.
For me,
Yeah.
the sweet spot is 50% hate it and 50% love it. That's
That is a good thing to aim for. I'm definitely going to have to go back and read some more of your other works. I've touched upon it here and there over the years. So, what would you recommend for aspiring artists and creators if they were getting started in the field? What would be your one key takeaway advice?
God. Forget what no means. I mean,
can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, you're going to get rejected, and you're going to get rejected a lot. And just forget what no means, just keep at it. I mean, I think eventually, I mean, that's why I got to work, was because I would be told no, and then I'd send something else in. It's like, oh God, just give them something. It took a long time. I mean, you don't just like come out of nowhere and
right. You have to kind of build to it. So basically, just keep flooding them until they say yes.
Yeah, I think that's what.
Yeah,
that was my trick.
Well, honestly, that's how I got my first job. I just kept showing up every couple of weeks. Hey, are you hiring? Do you want to hire me? I put my application in. They finally got
right.
Said, shut up, we'll hire you.
Yeah.
And here I am 20 something years later working in the library field.
But then, I mean, once you do get your shot, don't blow it.
Bingo. That's exactly what it is. It's always good when someone takes a chance on you, which.
Yeah. And you got to realize, I mean, it's like your first job is an audition.
Yes, it really is. Yeah, just take it seriously. Don't futz around, and you don't know where you're going to end up.
Yeah.
So
always make yourself invaluable.
Yeah, that is a good advice across the board, no matter what you're doing. So, out of curiosity, who was an inspiration to you outside of comics?
You mean as like an author?
As an author, or inspired you to do something in comics, however you want to define that.
Oh man, I think, well, when I was doing 100 Bullets, that was really informed by Jim Thompson, David Goodis, and a lot of the noir writers.
Yes.
That I don't think they were noir writers till a few years later when the French decided to call them noir writers. I mean, but they were just like, they were pulp writers,
Yeah. I remember just reading a whole bunch of that pulp stuff kind of growing up a little bit. It's one of my favorite genres. I actually became aware of
it's just like so salacious. I mean,
it really is. It's just really, I mean, my favorite, to deviate for a second, one of my favorite fantasy series is this, I cannot remember the author's name or the book series off the top of my head, but it's a fantasy world, and there's a human noir detective in it that solves all kind of pulp murders and things like that. It is just wild. It's Something I can have to look up and remember one of these days.
Oh
So,
my God. I'm like, it's not Harry Harrison. Um,
so you know what I'm talking about.
I think I do. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know. What's coming to mind is the stainless steel rat.
yes, vaguely. Yeah. Something like it's going to bug me until I'll definitely be Googling it after we talk. And I own like several of the books. Oh, this is
Yeah.
going to bug me.
Uh,
So, what do you do to recharge your creative battery?
I travel a lot, or I did travel a lot.
Like, where do you just have you been all over the world?
Yeah. Well, let's see. Uh, since January, I've been to New York and back. I've been to the Czech Republic and back. I've been to Spain and back. Phoenix. Um, that's all just this year. So
Wow, that is a lot of traveling.
yeah,
So, what was the last convention you went to before all this went down with the COVID-19 and the quarantining?
it was a convention in Valencia, Spain. Um, I left Spain a week before the president stopped travel from here.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Little
if
less.
they little less, so you would have been caught in that then if you had been there a week later.
You know, and when that happened, I was like texting friends in Spain saying like, damn it, I just, I left a few days too early because like I figured like, after what happened in Spain, well, what a terrible place to. That's a real trap, right?
Oh, yeah, darn! You had to spend the next few months in Spain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It turns out, I mean, and at the time I was there, this was not being. I mean, it was. We were aware of it, but I
Yes.
did a convention, and then there was a festival in Valencia um, called Faithless that happens every year, and it's. I was in big crowds, um, yeah, and
Okay.
but there was no sort of um, the fear was not in the air by then or then.
Yeah, it's definitely seemed like it's risen the last just few weeks as more has learned about it, and it's definitely become more of a global pandemic,
Yeah.
which is just nuts. So, out of, I always like to ask this of creators, out of all the conventions and conferences and things like you've been to, do you have a favorite that you always like to go to each year? One that you haven't been to in a while?
I have favorites. Um, there's a convention in Woods, Poland, every year that I've been to three times. Uh, I like Lucca in Italy.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
been there 3 or 4 times too. Any show in Spain, I say see, because I love going to that country.
It's a very nice country.
Yeah, there's a show in Croatia, in Mrkaska, which I'm really fond of. Yeah,
Very good.
I like to travel.
That is good. Do you find with the traveling that you have done, does that inspire any of your comic works?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, you meet different kind of people, different cultures. Yeah, it's always, you know, it's expanding.
It is. So, out of all the works that you've done, do you have a favorite comic that you've worked on, or one that you would have like one more story that you would like to tell from that world?
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, like I was working on a book I'm doing for Image called Moonshine. I was working on that today, and so that's my favorite because I was working on it today. This week I work on Faithless. Faithless will be my favorite. Um,
Okay.
it always seems to be the last thing I'm working on. 100 Bullets will always be. I'm always going to be connected to that. That's going to be on my tombstone.
Oh, that's yeah. It's a good read.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I think Joker's another thing that that is probably the one single book that I've signed the most.
Really?
It's
That
translated into every language. Yeah, yeah.
That is wild. Was that the Joker is such a divisive and interesting character. I have yet to read that one, but it's always been on my list. I have friends that swear that this is one of the best books they have ever read. When you were working on that
They should read
book,
more.
oh no, they they really like it. They're big fans of yours. They knew about 100 Bullets years ago too, so it's been good. So what's next for you? What is you're working on Faithless, you're working on Moonshine. Are there any other titles you have coming up or any other story ideas that you're thinking of?
Yeah, there's a few things that I have pending.
Yeah, it's one of those, can you actually
Oh,
talk about
yeah,
them though?
yeah. And I'm working on what I'm working on right now. And will there be something to work on later? I hope so.
Yeah, I think there will be. With this changing, with Diamond not publishing and a lot of things going digital, do you foresee any changes in the comic industry along those lines of how people are going to get access to their books, New Comic Wednesday, anything like that? Any
Oh,
predictions,
man.
hopes?
I hope not, but I don't ever get what I hope for. So,
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I do think that we're in a time where things are going to be different when the new normal comes around, but I think we're in a very unique opportunity where we're still able to get fans and creators just with these interviews and talking and remembering we are here. We're still going to be here after this is all done, and there's going to be new and wonderful stories to read and tell and explore, I think.
yeah, I mean, I hope so. I've been
I, I hope so too, and I do believe that will be the case.
and I've been doing a lot of walking lately because we're still able to do that.
That's yeah, we're lucky with that. With
Yeah,
your
I've noticed
walk,
a lot of I've noticed a lot of dog poop.
oh no, so people are still not picking up dog poop.
Still, I
That's
mean, like here it's been pretty good, and it's like now it's like, huh, it's like there it is, the first cracks in society. They are.
oh no, people can't pick up dog poop. Then what else are they not picking up?
You know, just like, ah.
That's just not good, and that's just not neighborly. Have you been seeing a lot more when you go on your walks? Have you been seeing a lot more people around in your neighborhood?
No,
Nah,
no.
just everyone. Are people being pretty good about keeping to themselves?
They are, yeah. I mean, it's so weird. It's like, you know, you're walking down the street, and somebody's coming, and it's like, oh wow, I'm in New York in the 70s. I gotta cross the street. You know,
Oh wow.
midnight. Somebody's coming my way.
that's just that's kind of it's weird to kind of hear that as the comparison. But yeah, no, when I've personally been out on walks, people are crossing the street, staying 6 feet away because they're
Yeah.
scared of this thing. I'm out here in California, and the governor's saying at least half the state is going to catch this thing in the next few months. So it's nuts.
Yeah.
So to backtrack to Faithless for a moment, do you have a particular story beat that just really stuck out to you that, this is magic, this is gold?
No, not one. I mean, I think I really liked the way that um, the sixth issue ended. The end of the first arc, where
Yes.
she has her show, and then her friend shows up, and she just sort of like ignores her friend, and it was like that was very realistic to me.
Yes, it did strike very like, you're my old life. I don't want to know you. You're going to ruin what I've become, or I don't want any
Yeah,
part of that
I don't have
anymore.
time for what I was anymore.
Yes,
You know, and I mean, it's sad and it's poignant, you know, but
it
you
is.
know, I could like say, well, you know, there was when the end of the first issue where her lover turns into maggots, or when, you know, there's other parts, you know, like shock, you know, supernatural stuff that
Yeah.
I think like really grab people. But no, the end of the way that the first arc ended, that was what I like that.
Yeah. I agree. The human element in the backdrop against a lot of the supernatural things occurring kind of stuck out more almost in a way because it was everything else was so bizarre. This was just a slice of normalcy.
Well, if you're going to be doing these kind of things to people, the people have to be believable. I mean, the
Yes.
readers have to have something invested in the character, not in the uh, the plot.
Yeah, the characters drive the plot,
Yeah,
which is just phenomenal.
that's one of the things. Like when I talk to a lot of aspiring comic writers, and they come at you, like here's my idea, and it's 100% plot.
Yes.
It's all about the world, and I'm like, okay, so you're just telling me, essentially, you're telling me a video game that you're playing. It's like, where's the story? I mean, tell me about the character. Here's your character. Where does it begin? Where does it end? And if you got me there, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter what the world is, at all.
Yeah, it's if you can relate or you understand it, you're hooked. I totally get it and understand that. I've read some things. It's like, no, the characters don't. World's interesting, but the characters just are flat and two-dimensional. And I don't continue reading it.
Yeah, and adversely, if you've got three-dimensional characters, you can have a two-dimensional world.
That's very true, and just kind of see how they bounce off of that.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the window dressing doesn't matter. It's the humanity that matters.
And I think that's a wonderful way to put it. I've never quite heard it phrased like that before, but I think that hit something right on the nose for me. Just it's people can see themselves in these characters, they'll respond.
Yeah.
Which is pretty great. So do you have one of the questions I always ask our creators and what we've been asking, do you have any tips to survive this quarantine staying at home? Any go-to, like do this exercise or sleep in or take breaks or anything like that?
Wash your hands.
Yeah, yes. We had one of our creators the other day give us a recipe on how to make your own hand sanitizer.
Yeah, well, good luck finding what you need to make that.
Yeah, I think it's all at this point. I think it's all gone.
Yeah, it's all gone.
Never in a million years would I think that the shelves in grocery stores would be rated above all toilet paper.
Right. Yeah.
It's some sort of, I guess, gatherer or who even knows. It's bizarre.
Yeah, I'd say like right now, probably. I was gonna say one of the dangerous place to go is Costco.
Oh man, it is the Wild West in Costco's from what I've heard. I'm not getting anywhere near them.
I know.
People fighting over things.
What do you do to survive this? Man, I don't know. I mean, like I've been doing this for so long. Like I've told you I travel a lot.
Yes.
I travel by myself. So like being by myself in a hotel room working, no big deal.
No, but yeah, no, that's good. I think
here I'm in my house in my room and I'm working. It's like just like being in a hotel room,
That's great. Yeah, and I think some people have just been trying to get that balance, but I think after the initial realization of what's going on, they can just probably breathe and just like, you know what, is what it is. We're all in this together.
Yeah, and if you can work from home, thank your lucky stars because you're working.
Yes,
there's a lot of people that aren't.
No, and they're not, and that's scary in this time. And just have to be lucky and thank your lucky stars, as it were. All right, Brian, we're getting close to our 30-minute window here. Just a couple more minutes. Okay. Do you have anything that we have not touched upon that you'd like to talk about? Any questions you wish I would have asked?
No.
That's just fine. All right. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, but I'm pretty good. I know I'm giddy that I got a chance to speak with you today.
I'm
I would
thinking of
like,
flying this week.
yes. Yeah, it's one of those. I know airline tickets are way cheap right now.
Oh my God. Yeah, they are. And like, I flew a week ago. I flew from Phoenix to Chicago, and there were 20 people on that plane.
Oh, that must have been a lot of nice leg room.
Well, yeah. The 6 feet rule was definitely enforced, or enforced rather. But it was, I don't know,
That must have been bizarre.
it was. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I just know going outside or just if I have to run an errand and you don't see people out. It is weird.
Yeah, it is.
But you know what? It's going to be an interesting in a couple of years when we can look back and say I survived COVID-19 and look at how the world has changed. I think there's a lot of good stuff that is going to come out of this too. I think just digital and just new opportunities people would never have thought of.
Well, we'll see. I mean, yeah, because I think if we're anything, we are adversity brings out creativity. So
Yes, it does.
let's see what happens.
Yeah, I'm hopeful and fingers are crossed.
Me too, until the looting begins.
When the looting begins, you know what?
All bets are off. All bets are off.
It really is. Hopefully we won't get there though. Fingers are crossed.
Yeah. Well, the
All
one thing, the good thing is like you can pretty much say that, you're not going to have any home break-ins because, everybody knows that somebody's there.
Yes, that is very true. And hey, they may be sick and you don't want to catch this.
Yeah, I know a lot of there are a lot of bars here that have taken their stock, like
Just completely out.
off the shelves because they got the big windows and it's just like why?
Yeah, don't tempt fate on that one.
Yeah.
At all. Ooh, I can't even imagine.
But let's try to be let's let's follow our good nature.
Yes, 100% that. Be kind to everyone, look out for each other, and just follow the rules a little bit so we can get out and about again sooner rather than later.
Yes, as someone who's made a living celebrating the bad nature, please be good.
Straight from Brian Azzarello. Follow that advice. All right, Brian, I want to thank you today for joining us and to Boom Studios for making this conversation possible. Please use the hashtags on the slide right here for more content from the Graphic Novel and Comics Roundtable. The American Library Association. Follow us at Libcomix on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Brian, before we sign off, is there anything else you want to say?
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands. Wonderful advice. Brian, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dan.